संपूर्ण लॉकडाउन होने जा रहा।
মনত ৰাখক অকণমান অসাৱধানতাই বিপদ ঘটাব পাৰে।
Are the other panelists?
संपूर्ण लॉकडाउन होने जा रहा है।
মনত ৰাখক অকণমান অসাৱধানতাই বিপদ ঘটাব পাৰে।
You can't make a cloudy day a sunny day, but you can embrace it and decide it's going to be a good day after all. A warmly welcome to everyone present here. I am your host for this wonderful session, Janapriya Gogoi, and also a student of Integrated MSc in Chemistry of Tezpur University. Extend a very warm and a hearty welcome to each one of you present here. As we all know, Inscignis, the mega science festival in Northeast India, is organized every year in TU with great enthusiasm and vigor. But due to the ongoing pandemic, it is not possible to arrange the event in a large scale. So cheers to the joint efforts and the hard work of the whole SOS team who has left no stone unturned to manage it in this online platform. Today's topic for the panel discussion is artificial intelligence versus human intelligence. Now, I would like to hand over this session to Dr. Rosy Sarmah, who is an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Tezpur University. Her research interests include image processing, machine learning, data mining, clustering, and bioinformatics. She has a total of 1 book, 4 book chapters, 20 international journals, and more than 20 international conference papers, who is the moderator of this panel discussion today.
Thank you, Janapriya. A very good morning to all. And thank you very much for being here to listen to today's discussion. The topic for today's panel discussion is artificial intelligence versus human intelligence. Among the panelists, we have Dr. Munmun Hazarika, Professor and Head, Department of Mathematical Sciences, Tezpur University. Her specialization includes operator theory, functional analysis, and she has 24 international journals and several national and international conferences in her bag. Next, we have Dr. Rupak Mukhopadhay, Assistant Professor, Department of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology, Tezpur University. His research interest includes inflammation, cancer, medicinal plants, and bioactive natural compounds, environmental biotechnology. He has more than 40 international journal papers, 1 book, and several conference, both international as well as national conference papers. Next, we have Dr. Amiya Kumar Das, Associate Professor, Department of Sociology, Tezpur University. His research interests are in sociology of development, sociology of governance, research methodology in social sciences, sociology of health and illness, sociology of religion. He has written 3 books, 8 book chapters, and has several referred publications. We have Dr. Prakash, Assistant Professor, Department of Environmental Science, Tezpur University. His research interests are environmental system modeling, air pollution, meteorology, climate impact modeling, extreme events analysis, noise pollution modeling, machine learning applications in environmental systems, non-stationary stochastic models, neurofuzzy systems. He has a total of 15 journals, 2 book chapters, 4 international conferences, and 8 national conferences and workshop papers. The next panelist we have is Mr. Rubul Kumar Bania, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Applications, Northeast Hill University, Tura Campus, Meghalaya. His area of interest includes data mining, medical image processing, artificial intelligence, algorithms, and data structure. He has a total of 12 international journals, 2 book chapters, and 5 conference papers. Finally, we have the last panelist as Ms. Ashamoni Neog, PhD scholar in the 6th semester, Department of Physics, Tezpur University. She is currently working on 2D materials and their applications. Now, before each of our panelists start giving their takes on artificial intelligence and human intelligence, it's my pleasure to prepare the ground for the discussion. The last decade has seen a tremendous rise in artificial intelligence and the way AI has intertwined seamlessly in our lives. The spending on AI is supposed to cross $96 billion by 2023. By 2025, we expect that about 90% of new enterprise solutions will include some type of embedded AI, artificial intelligence, or machine learning functionality or advice or recommendations. But what is human and artificial intelligence? Human intelligence is the basic quality of our brain that enables us to think, learn from experiences, extract knowledge, comprehend abstract concepts from the surrounding, retain that knowledge, and interact with fellow human beings. Whereas artificial intelligence is the ability of a machine to mimic the same tasks that we do from different data that it receives. Computer science defines artificial intelligence as the study of intelligent agents or machines that perceives its environment and takes action that maximize its chance of successfully achieving its goals. Artificial intelligence has come a long way from being a part of science fiction movies to reality nowadays. We are equipped with many intelligent devices, including smart cars, intelligent virtual aids, chatbots, surgical robots, vacuum cleaners, self-driving cars, and personal assistant robots, to just name a few. The field of AI research was born at a workshop held on the campus of Dartmouth College during the summer of 1956, where the term artificial intelligence was coined by John McCarthy. Alan Turing suggested at that time that if humans use available information as well as reason to solve problems, to make decisions, then why can't it be done with the help of machines? At that time, it was predicted that a machine as intelligent as a human being would exist in no more than a generation, and there were given millions of dollars to make this vision come true. However, progress in AI has seen several ups and downs, such as AI winter starting in 1974, a period when it was very difficult to obtain the projects, and the funding was also stopped. The next phase was in the 80s when AI started predicting stock prices and solving complex business solutions. So AI again started to rise. During the 80s and 90s, robotics finally entered the factories and showing what machines are capable to do. And this created fear and a backlash against AI technology, and which slowed its growth. In the late 1990s and early 21st century, AI began to be used for logistic data mining, medical and diagnosis, and other areas. Again, with that came the rise of, or the surge of, artificial intelligence that we are still swimming in. The beginning of 2012 saw a resurge in the interest of artificial intelligence, which led to dramatic increase in funding and investment. Faster computers, algorithmic improvements, and access to large amounts of data enabled us, and as well as data-hungry deep learning methods started to dominate accuracy benchmarks around 2012. In the future, AI will play a key role in improving quality of life through allowing humans to complete tasks more efficiently and in less time. Although we cannot be sure of the exact future, it is quite evident that interacting with AI will become everyday activity as far as humans are concerned. These interactions could help our society evolve, particularly in regards to automated transformation, solving climate change, improving the care of elderly, sectors such as healthcare, education, e-commerce, water power, electricity, assembly lines. Everything might be automated in the near future. We never know what will the future look like. But with this current backdrop, artificial intelligence versus human intelligence has become a topic of discussion. And here, I would like to go to one of our panelists, Mr. Rubul Bania, to provide a simple account of the differences and similarities between artificial intelligence. So over to you, Rubul Bania.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sure.
Yes. Thank you very much, ma'am, for giving the introduction. And I am very thankful to Inscignis Tezpur University community for inviting me in this discussion panel. And also I'm thankful to God also for giving us this opportunity to conducting this sort of event. Well, ma'am, nicely you have already introduced the role of AI in our day-to-day life. Also, you have also given the simple basic definitions of AI also. Like in addition to that, while we are discussing about AI, first definitely in our mind comes like, what is the intelligence? Because we are discussing here about human intelligence versus, say, artificial intelligence. So when we talk about intelligence, as per our concern, we can define it like that: the how we can reason about something, or the ability to reason something, more or less how we can acquire some knowledge and how we can apply them. So if these sort of things we can incorporate, then only we can say that some sort of uh, uh, objects, we consider them as a intelligence. And that sort of behaviors definitely as a human being we have, because we have evolved, say 10,000 or say 12, because lots of years of evolution, we have come to this present stage. Now, if we consider about this artificial intelligence, or this new technology evolution, if we consider that our computer system has evolved hardly, say, if we consider like our new computer system, or say modern computer, from the Alan Turing point of view, he has emphasis on one theoretical model like Turing machine. So from that era, we can consider that we have moved on to the modern computer systems. And from that point of view, already Madam has mentioned, like in 1956, Sir John McCarthy has coined one term called artificial intelligence. Then moving on to that, Rosenwald, Professor Rosenwald has first, who is a psychologist, he has designed a neural network concept with the term called the perceptron. So in that order, there is a long history with this AI. Now we are moving into the direction of this technology evolutions, where we have now IoTs, where we are having dealing with edge computing, we are having deep learning, machine learning. So lots of technologies are coming, which incorporates different fields and areas. Now, to differentiate, if we have to do some sort of differentiation between, say, human intelligence and, say, artificial intelligence, yes, definitely there are different will be we can provide, like in terms of, if we consider, say, the power, or the how we can compute, like as a human being, our computational behavior in terms of, say, solving some problems. If it is a very small problem, then yes, we have, say, limited amount of time we can solve it. But if the problem structure is, say, ill-defined, or if it becomes, say, large, so that time what happens is that, as our human brain is it is little bit limited. But if we place this problem to, say, computational machines, definitely we can get it in a faster way. Like in terms of, say, biasness also, if we want to compare like human intelligence or, say, artificial intelligence. So in terms of biasness, in human intelligence, our biasness is high sometimes, because we are affected by different sort of biases in our day-to-day life also. Like in terms of artificial intelligence programs, or, say, computational programs, the biasness in terms of, say, because it is very objective, because it is focused on some solving some problems, so biasness in terms of it is very less. So what I feel. And in terms of structural differences between our human brain, or in terms of, say, artificial intelligence point of view, if you want to consider some machines like structure, so there is a structural difference also. But more or less, for solving some problems, yes, definitely there is a huge difference, because this artificial intelligence term, or the programs, whatever we are talking about, those things, as a human being, we have created it. So these are the things which I would like to highlight. Now we are again a few things I would like to issue here is that, as we are in the era of new technologies, because we are trying to solve different problems in, say, medical systems, in finance, in, say, like, say, other domains like healthcare. So different applications of AI is evolved there, and we are moving into the direction of it, so that our life will become sophisticated, our life will become more robust. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Rubul. Now, coming to the next part, artificial intelligence is not magic, it's just mathematics. For example, computational neuroscience is a field of study which makes use of mathematics to learn the human brain by creating theoretical models of our brain. Therefore, my next question is to Professor Munmun Hazarika ma'am. What is the role of mathematics in artificial intelligence research? And can AI be considered applied mathematics? ma'am.
Well, thank you, Rosy. I believe this will be an interesting discussion today with the variety of people that you have assembled here, beginning from computer scientists who are in the actual know-how of things, with people like me who are in the periphery, I would rather say, along with social scientists like Amiya, to discuss the ethical side and the implications to society regarding this matter. So as per sticking to the question that you have posed to me, that the relation or the role of mathematics in this entire discussion. So let us just recall that this artificial intelligence, it was founded on the basic assumption that human intelligence can be so precisely described that a machine can be made to simulate it. So it is under the assumption that you can actually precisely describe the what is human intelligence. And so if you stick to, say, topics in AI, which are not involved in strong AI, the applicability of how it has been applied, the examples that you had actually outlined, how it has been applied in the health sector, how it has been applied in the stock market, how it has been applied in the very Google search that we use every day, or the Google Maps, or the face recognition, or the encryption techniques, everything. That is definitely very useful, and we are using it. Used in a proper, good way, there is every reason to invest in it and to draw the benefits of it. And to go into the computational side, the speed, the accuracy, the efficiency of machines, it is nowhere comparable to the speed or the accuracy of the human brain. What we would need, say, a month to calculate, the machine will do it in a matter of seconds. So there definitely is no comparison between that. But then, if I come to the concept of strong AI, where the basis is that we have an artificial intelligence which does not actually mimic the cognitive abilities, but it actually it possesses the cognitive abilities. Right. One is that you write the algorithm, you prepare the program where you control the situation and allow it to mimic the way the human mind behaves. And another is the phase, which is the real worry, is that you have created a system which will have the ability to self-learn and self-improve, and therefore it almost replicates the human brain. Of course, to make that, you have to have a precise understanding of how the actual human brain, what human intelligence is. Now, in this point, before going into the discussion, now I would like to give you a mathematical, the mathematical approach to this problem. And for that, I would take the liberty to go into a bit of the history of mathematics that actually contributes here. See, in the 19th century, mathematics had made great strides, partly because of the development of more and more powerful methods of giving mathematical proofs. And many of these methods involved the consideration of the concept of sets, set theory. And what is a set? It's just a collection of objects which is treated as a whole. For example, we say the set of all objects which are red, or the set of all physical objects which are spherical in shape. So it's a simple definition. And this idea of defining concepts in terms of sets around 1884, that is the late 19th century, this was central to the procedure of providing mathematical proofs. And things were working fine until in the 20th century, early 20th century, 1902, the British philosopher Bertrand Russell, he shattered this confidence. Russell provided what is today known as the Russell's paradox. Let me give a simple example of this paradox. Say there is a kingdom, and in this kingdom, the king identifies a barber from his kingdom, a barber, a resident of his kingdom, and he declares that henceforth, in my kingdom, every man who does not shave himself, this barber will shave every man who does not shave himself. So look at all the men in the kingdom, pick up any man, either the man will shave himself, and if not, then the barber will shave him. Now the question is, who will shave the barber? The barber is also a man in that kingdom. If he shaves himself, then according to the direction of the king, the barber cannot shave him. And if the barber does not shave himself, then according to the direction of the king, the barber has to shave every man who cannot shave himself. So who shaves the barber? This is a simple idea of the Russell's paradox, that you may have a situation where you cannot prove it and you cannot disprove it. You cannot give an answer, right? So what do you do? So immediately, the set theoretic reasoning of the time, people realize that this has got out of hand. Something has to be done. So the time had arrived to be precise about what kind of reasoning was to be allowed and what was not to be allowed. And obviously the reasoning to be allowed, it must be free of contradiction, and it should only permit true statements. So the great mathematician David Hilbert, he took the job upon himself and he said that, okay, let me try and develop such a scheme. What will I do? I will collect all the correct mathematical types of reason and would then prove that this scheme is free from contradiction. Ideally, what computer scientists would like to do. You feed the program with all the data that you have already proven to be correct. And then you develop an algorithm, a system that will fall back on this pre-fed data, and then it will apply the algorithm that you have provided to generate new information, new data, new suggestions, new ideas, whatever you call. Wonderful, David Hilbert started working on it. He continued for some 20, 30 years. But then again, in 1931, the 25-year-old Gödel from Austria, he gave a startling theorem. What was this theorem? He proved that such a precise mathematical system of axioms and rules that is free of contradiction. If you're trying to define such a precise mathematical system which is free of contradiction, then it must contain statements that can neither be proved nor be disproved, just as we had just now seen in the Russell's paradox example. Then if you're devising such a system, and if it is to be free from contradiction, then you have to include statements which can neither be proved nor be disproved by means allowed within the system. Now, when you are trying to develop an artificial intelligent machine, a machine which is intelligent, then the means has to be provided by you. You have to give the input. You have to feed it with predefined axioms, rules, regulations, everything has to be written out in the algorithm. And then, if you look at what Gödel says is, you can have all the hardware, all the software, But until and unless there are statements which can neither be proved nor be disproved within the means that you are providing, then it will never be free from contradiction. Now, contradiction is something that computers can't handle. We know computer is a binary system. It is either 0 or 1, true or false. It cannot deal with situations which is neither true nor false. So what can happen? Even if the human intelligence has been completely deciphered and we decide that, okay, human intelligence is nothing but an algorithm, we have deciphered it, we have achieved so much that all the hardware, all the software, everything is available. Now feed it into a program, write an algorithm which will generate all necessary algorithms in future. Will it succeed? No. Gödel has already proved that such a system will definitely give rise to contradiction, and it is not possible if you remain within the periphery defined by you. So mathematically, it's impossible to replace humans with artificial intelligence is mathematically proved by Gödel to be impossible. So why should we be worried? Should we be very happy, throw caution to the wind and celebrate? Okay, it has been mathematically proved to be an impossibility. Answer is no. Because the competition between artificial intelligence and human intelligence is not on a level playing field. By the prediction of I think it's Moore's prediction, which says that in the next 100 years, computers will be advanced by 1 trillion times than what it is today. But then human brain, my friend Rupak Mukhopadhay will know better than me that it takes millions of years for any substantial change to occur in the structure of the human mind. So someone has very rightly said that humans will get smarter by offloading more to computers than by evolving biologically. And therefore, there is every reason to pay serious heed to the warnings of Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk. Artificial intelligence, it definitely has its uses. Of course, there are aspects of ethical use, that will there be mass unemployment? Will it become rather than being benevolent, will it become malevolent with malicious intent? Will it be unethically used against humans? So all these are there, of course. So with artificial intelligence, its progress cannot be permitted to grow unabated. There has to be some restriction, some rules, regulations to be followed. Somewhere we have to say that henceforth and no further. Otherwise, we might end up unleashing a Frankenstein. And right now, at least, let me stop with that much to say.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So it was very nicely you have explained. And since you have already raised the ethical issues out there, so I'll just read out a quote from Klaus Schwab. So he says, we must address individually and collectively moral and ethical issues raised by cutting-edge research in artificial intelligence and biotechnology, which will enable significant life extension, designer babies, and memory extraction. So with this, I would also invite Dr. Rupak Mukhopadhay to provide an account of your personal concerns regarding the bioethical aspects of artificial intelligence. And do you think AI has superseded human intelligence in medical science and treatment? If so, how? I again repeat, it's a big question. So I would invite you to provide an account of your personal concerns regarding the bioethical aspects of AI. First question. And second, together with that, I would also ask, has AI superseded human intelligence in medical science and treatment?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sarmah. And I'm sure I'm audible to everyone. Yes. So first of all, thanks to all the organizers who has arranged such a beautiful topic for today's panel discussion. I would my best wishes to all the other panel members. I would just start taking the cue from Professor Munmun Hazarika, ma'am, because she has initiated a big debate in this panel discussion. But before I answer Dr. Sarmah's question, two questions has been asked. I would first like to answer the second question, and then I will come to because the second question will lead to the first question's answer. So the second questions that you asked, that has artificial intelligence has superseded the human intelligence. I think this is very, it cannot be answered in a yes or no manner, as far as I understood. Just a couple of points on how artificial intelligence is actually helping scientists, at least in the biological field. Say, for example, we have already cracked the human genome. The human genome, we all know that it consists around 3 megabases. So 3 times 10 to 10 raised to 9 bases of each. So now if we consider all the human that we have in the planet, and you have their genome sequence. So each of us have 3 megabases genomes, I mean the nucleotides. And then if you see 6 billion, more than 6 billion people in this world, if we want to keep all the information to get back to, and to visit when it is required, so that we can see that what are the specific signatures of genome sequences in different races, ethnic backgrounds, countries with different weather conditions. It is almost impossible to come back to a particular storage system. A human storage system is obviously out of question here. So we have to depend on artificial intelligence, and we are using artificial intelligence for these kind of activities. Secondly, recent developments in artificial intelligence in biological field that involves drug developments, and then the other one is personalized medicines. Drug developments involves, I can see my friend Dr. Rubul Sarmah is here from chemistry. Drug development is basically the involvement of synthetic molecules. Drugs are very, very small molecules which acts on our body. Small molecules to how they target a particular proteins in our body so that they can correct the situations of the disease. Now, we have millions of drugs, millions of small molecules, the libraries are there. So how we can specifically choose a particular drug, even if we start with the preconceived notion that okay, these are the molecules probably that can have an impact on the drug, the numbers will not be less than thousands. So to correctly narrow down it to a particular numbers which actually can be used for experimental purposes, we used artificial intelligence based softwares so that it can narrow it down. Similarly, as I was discussing the genome sequences, now personalized medicine, I'm sure all of you have heard these terms. It says that personalized medicine there will be a time where all of your genetic informations will be stored in some chip, and then whenever it's required, that you have just go to that algorithm, either go to the software, and then get your personal genetic information, and you will be treated according to that. There will be lesser interference from human or say, for example, doctors that we see nowadays. But all these, having said all of these, the question is that how far we have gone to the success of these techniques or technologies. Now, human intelligence, as all of you have already reiterated these things, that human intelligence is basically how we can learn, how we can think, how we can evolve, and how we can adapt situations. The question is that whether these technologies that we are currently developing, how they can exactly match. Some of you have already raised this question: how they can exactly match these situations, these human intelligence. My personal view is that they are quite there, but not exactly there, because what Professor Hazarika has already told, that there should be a restriction, there should be a limit, there should be a bar where it should not be crossed. So right now there is a big debate in biology, is that whether designer babies can be allowed. My personal view is that it should not be allowed, and that is the view basically of a lot of scientists. But then we come to that, and because of these type of questions, we come to the next question that was asked to me. That is the first question, that what should be the ethical issues of these technologies. There has been, all of you have heard this probably, that there has been a face recognition technology which has gone tremendously wrong in detecting some of these specific races. So they always detected a specific skin tones, a specific gender, and that has gone tremendously wrong in which has been used in United States by police departments. So where is the bar? Where we should stop and think and look back and see what we have done. The question is that if we have really allowed this to grow. Say, for example, I was talking about the personalized medicines, and all of our genetic informations are in a particular chip. How comfortable we will be to allow that information to share with everyone. Okay, and everyone means everyone in this world. And there are certain countries in the world, including ours, who has very strong authoritative restrictive systems, regulations, but there are countries which may not have that strong regulatory bodies or strong regulatory measures, which may allow these informations to be misused. Okay, and then we may have a problem. Second is that these, as I said, that these technologies can be really biased to some of these parameters. So whether we should be allowed, or whether we should allow this biasness to grow. Second is, who will get these benefits of these technologies? Are we really creating a situation where all of us will get equitable share of these technologies? Now that's a big question, and may not be. It may be just accessible or limited to a certain group of people, and we should not be. That should not be allowed. So there are, in addition to that, they may reduce some number of jobs, and that's for certain. In addition to those, there are several other ethical issues that I was just discussing. So, so that's what my personal take on this one is that AI, at least in biology or in the medical field, along with some sort of human interference, should be allowed. Now, AI without human interference, I have a personal problem on that one. Okay, so that's I may come back again to discuss some of these recent developments in medical field if it is required. I mean, if the time permits. But at this moment, these are my take on two questions that you have asked me.
Thank you, Dr. Mukhopadhay. It was an eye-opening way of saying the different, and of course, balancing as well. So, but AI also has many, many ways of seeping into our lives. So, AI and data from now, I'll come to the environmental aspect out here. So, AI and data from NASA has helped to identify patterns and monitor changes of land surfaces, such as decreasing sea area, ice caps, surface area, which can be used to determine future risks. AI can also be used to monitor pollution and identify sources of air quality issues faster and more accurately. Means we see various aspects of AI and various uses of AI in different fields. So coming to the environmental aspect, I would like to ask Dr. Amit Prakash to give an account of environmental aspects of artificial intelligence, such as the use of artificial intelligence in environmental studies, particularly in weather and climate forecasting and disaster alleviation.
Hello, I'm audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you, Rosy ma'am. And thank you for all the organizers for organizing such a nice talk, this panel discussion. Regarding the environmental applications of artificial intelligence, as you yourself know, it has a very wide and useful, it's proved to be very useful in addressing many of the environmental concerns. Artificial intelligence, precisely neural networking systems, the initial primitive neural networking systems was widely used since 70s in the environmental applications, especially in the prediction systems, environmental predictions. Of late in 90s it was, but the rules were rather very not defined till Gordon and this Castro and Boyd, they defined the rules for making predictions which is reproducible. Later on, with the advent of advanced computing and the supercomputing systems, many softwares also coming up. So these techniques were widely applied for solving the climate projections. The environmental systems becomes very complex. It's a nonlinear coupled systems. Many features are interacting with each other. So the normal mathematical or normal traditional methods of numerical weather predictions feels very limited in capacity, time taking and time consuming. With the advent of advanced computing systems, this becomes very fast enough and many more complex investigations, predictions can be achieved. In this context, of late, the climatic model predictions, when IPCC starts giving its first prediction report in IPCC fourth assessment report, then they consolidating the global climatic models, and one climate models on those days, prediction models, runs about months, years on that computers. But that simulations now can possible within 10 to 15 days itself. So the enormity of the computation facility makes it much easier for scientists to achieve a very large scale, as well as spatial and in terms of temporal also, to the predictions. Where in terms of human intelligence and artificial intelligence, Rupak sir, Munmun madam also have highlighted many aspects of it. In the context of environmental systems, I would like to raise the risks of using artificial systems in artificial intelligence in environmental applications or climatic applications. The World Economic Forum has listed 6 risks or 6 categories of risks involved in wide applications of environmental artificial intelligence in climatic systems. One is the performance. Performance means it's like a black box kind of a system which is not very understandable or human comprehensible in terms of. So for a normal person, as a user basis, the interpretation that it is giving is highly risk prone in terms of its performance. It's a risky to rely more on deep learning techniques because the associated uncertainty with its projections, especially in terms of disaster management and disaster predictions, because a small error in the predictions can have a very serious consequences. Another one is the security of the system itself. Third is the control risks, where the two systems can communicate with each other, and then the nature of communications is not controllable, then it creates another challenge for a human society. Then fourth is basically economic risk, social risk, and the ethical risk. Ethical risk here, I like to point out the system assumes about when it's using artificial intelligence for impact assessments on the society, on the vulnerability of the society, it assumes the social society into different categories. Now, these are as we know, human society is not a fixed, cannot be defined in a fixed parameters. So the parameterization that it does, it often leads to very overestimations or underestimations of the vulnerability of the society. So the ethical risks always inherent in the prediction bias of these models based on the networks or deep learning techniques. With the deep learning techniques, the benefits at present, the benefits overshoots the risks. Benefits is in terms of agriculture, smart agriculture, in terms of simulating different scenarios, suggesting different methods for minimizing the risks. And if we look into the current context, the predictions ability already helping the farmers in many countries in determining their sowing time, when to sow their agricultural crops, improving the productivity, agricultural productivity by more than 88% from the traditional cropping patterns. So with the climate change is an inevitable consequences of the global warming. It is changing, it is not going to something that can be removed. So it is a reality, the pace at which can be regulated. So the adaptation is the next stage. So how we adapt, a human being or a society, how to adapt to the climatic vagaries of the climate change. Now the climate change induced unpredictable cyclonic systems, unpredictable rains, the pollution levels. So the networking systems or the artificial intelligence systems actually helps in predicting or narrowing down the uncertainty in the future consequences and helps a human society in adopting and developing a better strategies to cope up with the coming climatic scenarios. Now, the scenario assessments itself is very subjective to the many socio-economic drivers. So the domain of future climatic scenario depends upon the current social economic activity. Now, how it evolves, it is in the domain of a very large uncertainty is a very large part. Now, to design or to devise a methods for adaptation needs a very critical and precise assessment so that it may not harm in the future if anything goes wrong. In that sense, the artificial intelligence is helping the future research as well as the human developmental of the research in environmental predictions for future scenarios. With these words, I will stop.
Thank you, Dr. Prakash. It was very nice the way you mixed everything up and made it very simple for everybody to understand. Now, I'll quote again. I love quotes. So I'll quote from Sebastian Thrun, computer scientist at Google Fellow. He says, "Nobody phrases it this way, but I think that artificial intelligence is almost a humanities discipline. It's really an attempt to understand human intelligence and human cognition," unquote. So the human part of artificial intelligence. Here I am eagerly looking forward to see what Dr. Amiya Das has to say about the philosophical aspects of artificial intelligence.
Thank you, Dr. Sarmah. I'm thankful to the organizers for coming up with this timely topic, and and in the beginning also, Madam Munmun Hazarika ma'am, she has already set up the tone for the discussion, and my colleagues, they have explained their disciplinary approach to look at artificial intelligence and how best we can understand various, say, dilemmas or paradoxes attached to the idea regarding artificial intelligence. So to begin with, I would like to say that how a human being is different from a machine. If we look at the whole debate from the beginning, say, even if the Eastern philosophy or the Western philosophy, later on we have found critic in terms of say, if we look at this feminist approach, they have actually criticized the whole idea of a scientific revolution, or we can call it say the Enlightenment movement philosophy originated in the West, by saying that they have conceptualized the reality in terms of machine, say in a mechanical way. That is why it means beginning the René Descartes or maybe Newtonian science or any other the scientific advancement, the experimentation, all these things later on have been criticized by mostly that Western and patriarchy. So coming back to that, we understand the basic dilemma till date we face with the kind of the along with the paradox or the contradiction, we live with various kind of contradiction and paradoxes. So in terms of when we call it, when we look at artificial intelligence, or we call it artificial intelligence, then, and today's the topic of the panel discussion, artificial intelligence vis-a-vis versus human intelligence. So human intelligence that we all know is based on certain kind of capability, and mostly the thinking capability. So how to think. So the scientists and the critique from the fraternity, scientist fraternity, they have actually come up with the idea that this human, this artificial intelligence or machine learning, they can at best mimic rather than this replicate the whole human mind or the idea of thinking. So then there are issues that we cannot discredit the whole idea of artificial intelligence in terms of this is not something that is humanly or it is going against humanity. But we have to look at in the particular context that in what way we can use it. Similarly, we have seen that there are kind of a concept called risk society. In sociological sense, we talk of risk society, where this due to the modern advancement and development, how certain things that earlier we thought it would help our human for the progress of human civilization or development, rather that harmed us, like say the nuclear energy system or any kind of modern system which is used negatively or to rather than helping or for the welfare of the human beings, it has been used as like a damaging or for the destruction. So similarly, that what are the limits to artificial intelligence, how best we can, because that till now what we have understood from this is that the machine is not capable of generating a kind of ideas automatically, means in itself, because we have to give some kind of input, then that will means think or that take that kind of thing. So I think means we are not very sure that whether we'll be able to achieve that stage, that whether the machine can itself a kind of unit where it will think for itself, decide for itself, and take decision independently or individually. But if you look at the kind of crisis like that we have seen, like in terms of the say climate prediction or other kind of emergency or a disaster, during the time of disaster, we can take help of this kind of system. But whereas coming to the kind of say using this for replacing the human being, then there will be kind of various kind of dilemmas and questions on the basis of our moral and ethical questions. That ma'am was the time she was like pointing towards certain issues, and whereas then again we have to think that when we talk of science or when we talk about a kind of various kind of approaches, it is not like it is not universal at all. Science itself is not universal. We all know it depends on the kind of practitioner. It depends on the country. When we talk about the Western countries where the people are facing problem in terms of population, they need workforce. But at the same time, when you look at the South Asian countries, we need job. We have a lot of like a huge, we need jobs. We means a huge population, those who are ready for work, but we do not have much work. So if during that time, like we can see that because of the automation and because of the kind of where machines or the robotics, they have replaced the human population in terms of workforce, then there will be a huge number of unemployed people or population in that particular country. So looking at various kind of dilemmas and context that we need to think, and there are even questions like if we cannot control our own thinking, sometimes then there are issues. And how then if you generate a machine and if you cannot control it in terms like it can create havoc, like means a time will come then when we cannot control what kind of command we give, and that will be disastrous. So there are possibilities that we have seen a lot of like and lot of novels and the cinema sci-fi movies that we have. But so that's when the time will come, like it could be a reality, but at the time that when we talk about the risk society, certain things which are designed to help the human civilization, at times it creates the opposite thing. So we need to be ready for that. And I think we don't know as of now that whether it can replace that human thinking or human mind, but it can be kind of addition, and that to what kind of addition that time will tell us, and we are not sure as of now.
Thank you, Amiya. But overall, I am having a feel that all of us are a bit scared of artificial intelligence. That's the underlying thing that is going on. But sometimes I feel that yes, there are two sides of the same thing, and all of the panelists are trying to focus on the same thing, that there are risk factors, there are as well the benefits out there, and it is a very fine line that we all have to walk to reap the benefits and to push away the demerits. So we all are slowly starting to have an idea about how the future might be, but there is a bit of uncertainty, as Amiya has said, and how that uncertainty will present itself, what the changes that will come up for the future generations. We all have heard about the warnings of Stephen Hawking, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, to name a few. The predictions are, however, negative, but there are several people who have estimated the positive impacts of AI as well. So I would like to pose my next question to Ms. Ashamoni Neog. And the question is, could you make us abreast of the dangers of artificial intelligence? And do you feel the reports of dangers of AI are exaggerated? Over to you, Ms. Neog. Are you there? Ashamoni? Please unmute. I think she's facing some problem. I think we can just go on and discuss about this if any other panelists would want to quip something about it. What do you think about the dangers that we might have from the artificial intelligence?
Okay, so Rosy, that's a nice one that you're asking. And I would want to respond by asking you another question. Why do we make mistakes?
It's maybe a basic human quality to our is human.
Is it predestined that we will make mistakes?
Yes, I know.
Is it predestined?
Yes, I
Is it predestined that we will make mistakes? See, mathematically, statistics at least, probability, which is a very strong weapon that we have, says something like that. Say, recently we were watching, just to divert a little bit, we were watching the Australian Open tennis, and the final was between Djokovic and Medvedev. And Medvedev was running on a 20 continuous matches he had won. One of them was against Djokovic himself. So people were like, okay, this time Djokovic is going to lose. But then, statistically, that was destined to lose. That was what statistics said. And it was proved correct. There was no match between Djokovic and Medvedev. It was a win for Djokovic in straight sets. So that again brings me back to the question that, are we predestined to make mistakes? On a finite system, maybe not. 1 + 1 will always give a 2 for a calculator. But if we are on an infinite system, infinite means a very large system, then maybe we are predestined to make mistakes. And if we have an artificial intelligence where the system is learning and improvising and creating its own new roads, then along with this, if we assume that we are predestined to make mistakes, then that system will also make a mistake. Our children make mistakes, we make mistakes. But when I make a mistake, you tell me, madam, you're making a mistake, please correct yourself. Who will tell the artificial intelligence, you are making a mistake? In fact, they are so advanced than us by the time we realize that he or the artificial intelligence is actually making an error, centuries. And maybe there will be no control. Once making a mistake, it will again keep replicating that mistake and building on that mistake. Because the result, just as Godel said, you take one input, if one input is wrong, you build on that and your incorrect predictions are exponential. And that is what I think Amit meant by saying uncertainty in weather forecasting or this kind of things, where one mistake leads to exponential amount of mistakes created. And say that we as a crowd seem to be scared of artificial intelligence. I think I'm justified to be scared. I am really, I don't know. And the applications that you are giving me are so tempting to use. In fact, my life has already become 90% dependent on it, and that scares me even more. I don't know. I would really be. I would like to hear about how our other panelists feel about it.
Dr. Mukhopadhay wants to say something.
Yes, completely agree with Professor Hazarika. But we should not also sound too pessimistic about using artificial intelligence, because I feel till we have using artificial intelligence to a certain point where life and death is not involved, I think we should continue to use it, because that has made human life, as well as from the perspective of scientists, that has made life very easy. But as I said, say for example, I can give you an example. Like a couple of years back, there has been algorithms has come to detect cancer tissues. Now, detection of cancers depends a lot on identification of tissue slides. That is called that is called histopathology. Now, these histopathological slides, if an algorithm can be made, which can go through thousands and crores of histopathological slides and get this information that how a aberrant tissue that is growing in the cancer or the core of the cancer, whether that can be detected from that slides. Now, there has been this program which is called DLAD, or Deep Learning Assisted Automatic Detection Methods, which has been developed by this scientist from Seoul National University. And they have seen that in terms of the detection power, that capability of detection of looking at various tissue slides to identify that whether some cancerous cells are there in these tissue slides, the program has defeated 17 out of the top 18 histopathologists in terms of identifying these tissues. So this is tremendous. This is tremendous. I mean, there is, and here I think we should take the maximum. We should reap maximum benefits from this kind of identification. But as you correctly mentioned, this program will also do mistakes. This program will also detect a tissue. I'm sorry.
Dr. Vipul Sharma, can you please mute? Dr. Vipul Sharma, can you please mute?
Vipul, can you mute? Vipul, can you mute your? So this.
Can the administrator mute? Yes.
So this particular algorithm will also do mistake where at certain point of time it will detect a normal tissue as a cancerous tissue, and at certain point of time cancerous tissue will not be detected and it will be detected as a normal tissue. It will happen. So that's why in my previous discussion I said that there should be always a human interference along with the artificial intelligence. So if that occurs, then I think we are all right. We are okay with this.
So since we'll continue with this debate, okay, but means we also have to keep track of time, and we'll just go to round 1 of student questionnaires, and we have some questions that have come in. Okay, so the first question is by Parthopratim Bora to Dr. Amiya Kumar Nath. So Amiya Kumar, I think it's Das. Okay, so to Dr. Amiya. So the question is, we need AI ML for better life. Do we have an ethical problem of AI taking manual jobs, or it is not the right perspective? There is, yes, together Partha also mentions there is also a question of intrusion of privacy by tech giants using ML. So do we have an ethical problem of taking, there's a lot of questions. So let's do one by one. So the first question is, we need AI ML for better life. Do we have an ethical problem of AI taking manual jobs? Amiya, I'll tell you the question.
Yeah. See, means what I would like to say here in this context is that, already we have started using various facilities and applications for making our life easier in a way. So, do we have an ethical problem of taking manual jobs, or it is not the right perspective there?
Amiya, I think you can do one by one, the first question.
Yeah. Okay, so manual jobs already we have been taking help of say we are doing it taking help of various kind of facilities or machine already, say we use it's a kind of washing machine is a form of machine that where earlier we used to in steel we wash clothes, and then we can also take help of the machine. Similarly, if we replace the human labor, which is in a kind of hazardous, and we use machine to save a life, that is means not a problem in terms of if you look at say ethical or moral problem. But when you replace the manual jobs with artificial intelligence, and then you make a person or a family or a particular number of people jobless, and they will suffer from poverty, then what is the use of this kind of science or development where we make people means they suffer, and then we deprive them of a humanly life or comfortable life? Then there I have a problem. So again, if we look at the whole issue of privacy, then it has been debated all over the world that privacy is kind of human rights. Say if we use that our privacy, it's a kind of right. That is why you can see recently that social media and other thing where we people recently that we have seen about the WhatsApp, how people started reacting and they are switching off or shifting to other forms of say social media app because there were questions regarding the privacy. So privacy is very important, but we have seen how this technology is or the machines, they are stealing also, humans are all stealing through the help of various kind of technology, data, and there are frauds and that we have seen. So or that is why, yes, we have here you have asked do we have an ethical problem of artificial intelligence taking manual jobs, or it is not the right perspective? So there is also question of intrusion of privacy by tech giants. Yeah. So I think both ethical and we cannot say it's a right, not according to me it may not be someone can also say this like, oh, yes, we can use artificial intelligence, but ethically for me, it is not correct where the large number of populations like they are suffering from hunger and poverty.
Then, thank you, Amiya. So the next question is addressed to Ashamoni. Neog, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. So quite recently, a team of researchers from the University of Tokyo have succeeded in discovering extremely hard to find two-dimensional crystals of graphene under a microscope by making an AI algorithm. They trained the algorithm to detect the outline and thickness of flakes without having to fine-tune the microscope. Okay, so by using several examples under various lighting conditions, how do you see AI transforming the fundamental sciences in the near future?
Yeah, actually,
the questions are in the chat box. Actually, one by one, you can just go through.
Yes. My sound is echoing actually.
No, it's
all right. Now it's all right. In science, and if we go for fundamental discoveries and other things which are completely related to some research areas, then actually AI is really helping people, because it is not easy for people to go to that deep level, or someone has asked about two-dimensional. It means low dimensional, very low, means we can go up to mono layers. The range of the layers can be 0.6 angstrom or something, or some somewhat less than that. So at that level, we human cannot see those things. So in those fields, we can actually use AI. And yes, there someone who is asking that question. Yes, they have also developed in Japan. They have also developed new neuromorphic devices with the help of two-dimensional materials. So that is a very good thing, because neuromorphic devices are nothing but devices which mimic our real human brain. So that's a very good thing. And I think I have answered my question, but is there any other question I have not seen here?
At this moment, that's all. So thank you, Ashamoni. So the next question is to Rubul.
Thank you.
The question is from Siddhartha. So he initially asked about the differences between AI and ML, which I think you have already covered. So the next question is, how can we improve AI detecting fraudulent activities on digital payments? And why game theory is important to AI? So the questions, the rest of the questions,
Yes,
I think there are a lot of questions that he has posed. So I think at least the first two you can answer.
Yes, thank you for the question, Siddharth. So the first question is like, how can we improve AI detecting fraudulent activities in digital payments? Yes, there are lots of algorithms are available for detecting these fraudulent activities. Like nowadays, we have this blockchain technology has came, via which we can do some sort of digital payments, or that by using some sort of encryption technologies, we can make the payment gateways more superior than the other technologies which were available to us. So by using these blockchain technologies and this sort of whatever the privacy or that this fraudulent activities nowadays it is happening, so that can be, I think it can be stopped somehow.
I think the last question, Rubul, is very important in this discussion. The last question. Okay. So we can.
Yes. Is human consciousness the dominant factor in the accuracy of modeling a physical phenomenon? Is human consciousness the dominant factor? Yes, to answer to this question, like human consciousness, the dominant factor in the accuracy of modeling a physical phenomenon. Definitely, our this human consciousness. You see, whenever we are talking about this AI, we have three views actually. So one view is that think like human, or say act like human, or say another view is that act rationally, or say think rationally. So there are four views while we are designing the AIs. So as from the point of view of layman point of view, if we say that what sort of AI programs nowadays are developing, it says that we'll have to act rationally. That means doing the right thing. That is the act rationally. So whenever we are talking about act rationally, definitely our human consciousness should have to be applied over there before designing any sort of algorithms for solving some problems. Say, for example, whether AI has as a superseded human intelligence or not. So in that order, I would like to mention is that there are several applications are there which has definitely superseded the AI. Like if we consider like games from the perspective of games, say chessboard game, already IBM has designed Deep Blue in 1999, and already that Deep Blue has defeated the human players who are more superior in playing games. In 2016, say AlphaGo, which was designed by DeepMind, and it has also defeated the human players. So that means the AI programs are already superseded our human intelligence in some sort of applications. So while designing this sort of applications, definitely a different point of view we'll have to consider that where our consciousness should have to be applicable over there so that we can get an accurate result with respect to the physical phenomenon. So
and what do you have to say about the game theory part? In how big a role does it play in AI?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely, the game theory has lots of role because in AI there is another area of AI is like in gameplay. Because game playing is one area of AI where this game theory has because game theory was proposed like is a Nath theorem was there, which says that which says some sort of terminology is called the equilibrium. So that equilibrium, which is related to the game theory, that can be applied for playing the games also, like playing in CS, we have the reinforcement learning technique is there, where this equilibrium kind of things, technically I cannot give the answer, but this sort of thing has, yes, in the reinforcement learning, it has definitely, it has some impacts. Which is actually...
Yeah, in fact, Rubul, AlphaGo uses reinforcement learning and neural networks.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why now reinforcement learning is something like where we keep on giving goals. Every time there is a goal, the goal is achieved, you are giving rewards to the system. So that makes the machines or the bots to work even better. So it's a reward-oriented system. So that is that is a very important part of AI nowadays.
Yes.
So I think, thank you, Rubul. So I think we'll move on to the next question. The question is to Dr. Amit Prakash by Chinmoy Saikia. It's there in the chat box, but I'll read it out. So training artificial intelligence is an energy-intensive process. New estimates suggest that the carbon footprint of training a single AI is as much as 284 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. How will we tackle such a problem? Very nice question.
To tackle the carbon footprint of training a single AI. Look, carbon footprint has many, as I talk about uncertainty, the estimates of the footprints is itself is not very authentic in terms of in any way. Artificial intelligence training requires one-time investment. Basically, if you look into the terms of technicalities of computational ability, The power consumption's requirement is decreasing with the rate of increasing the processor speed, per unit processor speed at present. So, to take into account, I will put up these questions in a different perspective. Suppose all of our human activity or the social activity based upon artificial intelligence, just hypothetically think of how much carbon intensive or footprint would you calculate, and what is the current rate of your carbon use. So if you convert the human activity, the daily consumption pattern in a normal activity, shift it into an artificial or deep learning techniques or machine learning techniques, just port it, suppose that everything is done by the machine, humans are idle, just for the sake of it, then the carbon consumption would be far greater than the machine learning. So in that context, the carbon, the estimates itself is not a true picture of the carbon footprint. The better question would be is, what will you do to minimize or to reduce the footprint of alternate energy uses? The current energy use has its own footprint, we all know, but it is still not certain what will be the footprint of an alternate energy use, because the direct carbon use is less, but the indirect use of a alternate energy sources are still under progress. Now the 6th assessment report, they are looking into it, because enormously renewable energy was taking over dominantly on the major pie of our energy consumption patterns. Now, to a layman perspective, I'm just imagine entire Earth's land surface, half of the land surface has a solar panel. What would happen with the solar intensity that is receiving to the sun? Solar Earth system energy balance will be disturbed. So in that context, so the amount that you are taking about, you are talking about only 284 carbon credit, which is nothing in terms of the global carbon consumptions. So that's my take on it. And with the progress, it will go on declining.
Yes. And nowadays, we know AI research is also into and developing various energy efficient machines.
Yes. Yeah, it's but all of your renewable energy systems integration into the main grid is basically now AI independent.
Yes.
They are.
So coming back, we'll start the second round of our discussion. So my first is, I'll just share some events. In the evening of March 18, 2018, Elaine Herzberg became the first pedestrian to be killed by a self-driving car. In the months they followed, after that, because of Uber self-driving car, okay? So there were several ethical challenges to be met. Many people started to blame the victim. Somebody started to blame the softwares. So what are the ethical challenges that have to be met before automated cars become a commonplace? This question is directed to Mr. Rubul Bania. What are the ethical challenges that have to be met before automated cars become a commonplace in our lives? Because already an accident has happened, a person has lost her life.
Yes. So in terms of ethical challenges, like, yes, definitely before designing or for developing that sort of driverless car, the companies would have to take in some sort of precautions from the government side also before doing that sort of activities. They should have to take some permissions from other authorities also. As those driverless cars has different sort of sensors, with those sensors they are doing some sort of internal algorithms are running via which those driverless cars are running. So in terms of ethical point of view, yes, definitely they will have to take some measures, and from the government side also, or from the other stakeholders point of view also, they must have to take in some sort of measures, so that if some sort of accident or this happenings, so that the person should have to get some sort of reimbursement or something like that.
Now, another thing I would just like to, this is from my side, like I would want to ask you is that in that incident, okay, do you think that AI was supposed to blame, or do you think that it's because of human error that happened?
Yes, definitely, ma'am. From the human side also, there may be some errors may happen, because if he is like, you know, day-to-day life also, suddenly while I am driving, some person suddenly come to, he is trying to cross the road. So that may also happen. Like, because the
I'll just tell you the scenario, Rubul,
yes,
so that it will help you a bit. The scenario was something like there were several cameras. No, I don't remember. It was around 20, above 20 number of cameras. It was fully equipped. That Uber means automated car. It was fully equipped. There was a driver sitting out there, but the driver was not using the car. Means that person was just there for emergency situations. So what was happening is the lady who walked from the side crosswalk with a bicycle, the machine intelligence was keeping on tracking. It was of course, it was full of shadows, it was night time, but at the end, it was trying to learn whether the thing that is coming was a bicycle, then it identified as a dog or something. It was keeping on. The learning was going on. Just before a few seconds only, the AI said that this is emergency and the brake should be pressed. The brake was not in the emergency braking was not a part of the AI. But the time, that real time scenario was that important. So now I think with this scenario, I think you'll be better able to answer it. That real time decision that has to be taken.
Yes, you see, ma'am, still this driverless car are still on the process of research only. That's why I think many of the companies, they have not launched it fully in the market also. Yes. Because in some countries, yes, there are some scenarios happen that this driverless car has launched. But if you consider our scenario, like say India, it is quite difficult to launch that sort of this driverless car.
With thousands of going on, yeah.
Yes. To train the driverless car, in some good countries, they have big roads. They will have to train it before placing it into the market. Like in our scenario in India, if you want to place these things, definitely there will be lots of chaos situations. And that car is also become, during the process of training also, you will become confused, I think. The neural net will become something like that. That yes, every time people are
totally dependent on data, you know, it's so dependent on data.
Yes, totally dependent on the data.
And that's why it
lots of
becomes so
sensors
difficult
are there,
to take.
but
yes, it's not that it won't take a decision, it will take a decision, but the real-time scenario is very difficult. And that's where human AI interactions should be more.
Yes, ma'am. You see, nowadays the research is going on into the field of generalized AI.
Yes.
Or say, yes, and that is the big challenge for the AI researchers, like how we can make the generalized AI. Yeah. That means to make a note on this generalized AI. For example, suppose I know how to play football. So that means for myself, I need not have to learn that how to play hockey maybe, because hockey and this football may have some similarities. So I need not have to frame, because as a human being, we can learn from the experience how to play football, I know. And one day if I'll go to play hockey, definitely by observing some of the things, within say 7 days, I can learn how to play hockey. But same thing, if I want to design the machine, or in terms of say algorithm, if I want to design, then for playing the football, I'll have to describe different rules or frames I'll have to design. And for playing the hockey also, I'll have to define different rules. So though they have some similarities, so that sort of generalization is still in the research field. So one day, if this sort of things will happen, that we can design the generalized AI, I think that will be the day that this human intelligence may be overruled by the AI. Today morning also, while I was, because I stay alone over here, while I was washing my utensils, that time I was thinking that can we design some sort of robotic hand which can wash my utensils. So then I thought that, you see, if I have to design one robotic hand, so definitely for grasping the, say, for my some sort of utensils like say cup or say plate, so definitely their patterns are different. But as a human being, I can to clean the cup or say plate, there is no difference for me. But for designing a humanoid kind of things, definitely he should have, that robotic arm should have to understand the patterns, that depending on the patterns, how to move these things. So that will be quite difficult. So that is the research area where it is moving to making the generalized AI, so that by observing some patterns, you can make a generalization. Okay. And that sort of things, if it can be incorporated in this driverless car also, that means if the road pattern is this, then we can apply this. So I think within 10-15 years, those things will be solved also, because this deep learning techniques nowadays, it is booming, and use of deep learning and big data, I think this sort of techniques definitely will come into picture. Within 15 to 20 years, we can see this scenario changes.
Okay, thank you so much, Rubul.
Thank you.
So next is Dr. Mukhopadhay. So I'll just give the background. So, you know, IBM's, I hope all of you have heard about IBM's Watson supercomputer. Okay, so IBM's Watson supercomputer was touted to be the face of the transformational effect of artificial intelligence in healthcare. But however, it has been recommended unsafe and incorrect for cancer treatments. Okay, so how do you view this problem? Is this this hype that was created about IBM Watson or any other AI in healthcare, is it harmful? The hype, is it harmful?
Yes, the IBM Watsons, if I remember correctly, it has won several prizes also, in 2000, around 2012, 13, that time when it was, was developed. Yes, it has helped, as I said in my previous conversation, it has helped tremendously to develop algorithms which can automatically detect cancer patients or cancer tissues. But as I also said, that it is supposed to do mistakes, and it has done mistakes. It has seen that there has been mistakes in detecting. So because biological systems are very complex systems. Okay, so if there are some aggregations of cells in a particular place, if that is detected as a cancer, it may not be actually. There may be several other reasons why cells are developing or growing in that particular place in a much faster rate than normal. So specifically in biological field, the chances of doing that sort of mistakes are much more. So that's why I always, was pointing out towards a certain sort of human investigations along with the AI interferences with this kind of prediction technologies. And similarly, there are a lot of new techniques that I have just told, that like DLADs has come, LOINAs, LINAs has come. They detect lymph nodes to quickly detect the cancerous tissues in breast cancers. So those kind of techniques are there. Those new algorithms are there. But how it can be improved, that, personally, what I feel that how do we learn, and how do we learn from our mistake? If an algorithm can learn itself from the mistake, that is, we learn from the experience. So if, like you said, that driverless car has made an accident, now if that car, now next time when it come to the road, if we know that this kind of situation arose one time and it has done a mistake, and it can correct itself by learning from the previous mistake, then there would be this kind of chances of making AI mediated mistakes will be lessened. That's my understanding about this process.
Okay, thank you so much. So the next question is to Dr. Munmun Hazarika ma'am. So the question is, when will we be, because we are also seeing the different views of artificial intelligence, the different takes on artificial intelligence, the rights of us as a human being. So the real question is, when will we draft an artificial intelligence bill of rights? And if so, what will that consist of? Who will be deciding that? What are your views on the prospect of regulation of artificial intelligence?
You are asking me the question, but in my personal view, I'm hardly the right person to comment on who will regulate artificial intelligence.
This is a question, none of us have an answer to.
Exactly.
This is a question, and yet I'm asking this because it is time that we all understand now that we really have not come up to the point where we really think that governments need to do something about it.
Exactly. But
that's the whole point of discussion.
Yes, because even if we consider the present scenario, where the open access to all information, which is creating a furor all around the globe, how much access should be given to the data that to one and all, and the kind of repercussions it's having. So even if we don't go into the political side of it, but otherwise too, there has to be regulations, and maybe the best would be that scientists, people in the know-how, people who are working application, the best person who will the pitfalls that will come with the system, omnios that can an artificial intelligence create? Can it write? So yes, it can create creating. Then the point is how much it, or if we go into Rupak was saying that yes, artificial intelligence is helping us to it suggests in then provided we are our knowledge level at that point where we can actually immediately predict that yes, now I'm making a wrong statement or giving me an incorrect prediction. And such scientists have ultimate decision regulation since now. It has to be jointly taken by all leaders across countries, across boundaries. So really don't know who will regulate it. I think just like we are seeing, point of regulation is only just starting to evolve. Let's see in which way it goes. What is there has to be regulation. We have to come up with the is actually happening at a breakneck speed. The amount of work that is being done in this area and the amount of progress that is being made daily, and the effect it is the regulation whoever is going to make regulations to come in place, or maybe we should, if we are not to then temporarily we should maybe restrict the different the applications, availabilities, keep it in hibernation for at least some time, and try to regulate, frame a basic set of a basic set of conditions that will maybe bring in some semblance of the use, unethical use, particularly unethical use. Even when we do the Google search, it shows us screen after screen after screen after that of information. But who comes first, who comes second? As a user, I don't know how to do that. How am I? So the lay user, the layman user, like me, we wonder why something comes in the first page and sometimes something comes in the third page. Something to do with the benefits that Google is reaping. I don't know whether it is happening or not. But then the question remains, we are doubtful. So if there is a transparent regulatory body, then we can be happy and we can go about doing it, just as we have a judiciary system. And we know that if we make a mistake, there is somewhere where I can appeal. Right? We would know for artificial intelligence systems, if I smell a rat, who do I appeal? Or who do I talk to? So such a system has to be in place, but I'm hardly the person to really say about who will put the system in place. Maybe you are better equipped than me.
No, this is a question that I said at the very first, ma'am, that it's none of us do have an answer. But it's high time that we are asking here in this discussion that who will decide that? What are the prospect of regulation in AI? That we are discussing this fact is itself a step that we have taken forward. And who knows, means people will come forward to do this. And of course, it has to be an international body, because many international bodies have been set up because of various problems that have been faced in society in history. Okay. And I hope that something like that will come up as far as AI and regulating AI is concerned. So next, to move forward, there's a question that I'm going to direct to Dr. Amiya. So it's, there are several governments who are not into protecting the privacy of persons. For example, China have pushed for computer-aided surveillance of its citizens. So is there a need for a uniform global set of internet rights so that the privacy of each person is respected? A global set of internet rights, because some countries might not be doing that. So that's, yeah. Dr. Das, are you there?
Yes. Yeah, because we know that see, it is very difficult to predict about like international standard or international union. The common example may be from this context of China, that how the virus was originated. The WHO wanted to go to China, Wuhan, to find out and investigate, but the team was not allowed to conduct research or to have access to various kind of resources. So in this sense, yes, it's a kind of futuristic thinking that we should have international union or a kind of collaboration or unit where we should respect the individual's right to privacy and other sort of things. But if we, because the country's head of the nation also should agree to that, and they should be part of that understanding. But even they say yes, they do think they sign treaties, but after that they can also deviate from that. So that is why, means if you ask me personally at individual level, what we can do, we can restrict ourselves, or we can if we cannot expect it from our the state, head of the state, or the nation's head, or different kind of international union, then it is up to us how best we can protect ourselves and keep ourselves away from all this kind of pervasiveness of this artificial intelligence or a kind of machine interface with the human behavior. That is up to us, that how best we can protect ourselves. That is my point. Otherwise, I mean, it's kind of wishful thinking that we should have one, But at the same time, we cannot expect that it will definitely happen. Means that the government or the different other countries, they may not obey that.
Yes. And even after the bodies come, it's up to countries to obey that body.
Yes,
that is also what history has taught us, right?
Yeah.
So next, Dr. Prakash, we have seen various popular social networking sites, and they have interfered in democratic discourse and influenced people's opinions through use of AI in elections, for example. In a way, it is a procedure of superseding AI over human intelligence for corporate profit. What are your views on these violations?
For corporate benefit?
Yes, like suppose many times the people's opinions, they are manipulated, right? Through use of AI.
So taking the words from Dr. Amiya, right to privacy, actually with the AI systems can be misused for many purposes. What we have is still in the regulatory framework, we have a right of privacy, but that is not effective in sense of implementation, because Google, you use Google search, we use all sort of global platforms, social networking sites. The moment we are on a mail, or it is all open to everybody. The one thing that is very interesting would be the right on our own personal data. How my personal data is going to use should be in our control rather than in others' control. Unless that is achieved, we are open to misuse. Rather than on the social networking sites, I am not the right person to comment on it that way. But the more you control your social, your media activity, that means social media, your information, the more we can be protected. The rules that are framed is always dependent upon the implementation part, where technology always fast enough to adapt themselves, or the miscreants adapt themselves, rather than the enforcement adapt to the changing technology. So it's always a cat and mouse going on.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Prakash. So, Ms. Ashamoni Neog, I have a question for you. The way that SpaceX and NASA is using, I think I have asked you this question, right? NASA and, have I asked you?
No.
Okay. The way that SpaceX and NASA is using AI in space explorations, what is the status of ISRO in making utilities integrated with AI?
Okay, so recently we have seen that Perseverance is on Mars. It has landed on Mars. So if we remember when Eagle was landed on Moon, then in those days the artificial intelligence was not that means good. So Neil Armstrong had handed over all the control and landed Eagle on Moon. So the part of artificial intelligence was done by Neil Armstrong at that time, around the 60s. So now, in case of Perseverance, which have landed on Moon on, I think I have forgot the date, in February. So here they have included AI in the system. So what it is doing, before landing on Mars, it was taking several pictures of Mars to get a proper landing site, which was not done in case of Eagle. So this kind of development NASA is using on their device. So I think this is a big step by NASA to improve their systems, like Elon Musk is doing on his devices. So I think that is my answer. Can you repeat if I have left some?
It's okay.
Yes. Okay.
So next we'll go on to round 2 with the viewer questionnaires. So the first question is to Rubul, Bania. So Astha Das is asking, what is cross-validation in statistical analysis?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. Cross-validation, while we are trying model, so we have different type of cross-validation techniques. Say for example, cross-validation, I have collected say samples, say from 10 different runs. So if you want to perform say full cross-validation over there, so that time what we can do is that for the 10 runs, we can pick up only one sample result and other that whatever the 9 runs I have, say in terms of say 100, if I will consider say 10 and 90, so other 90 will be, I will pass it to the training model. Again, the other samples I will consider, then again the 90 will be same. So this process will be run for say 10 times. So that can be considered as say 10 full cross-validation. That means the 10 sample size, individually we have given the preferences. So that can be applied in let's say when we are trying to model some classification models in supervision.
Thank you, Rubul. So the next question, I'm directing it to Dr. Mukhopadhay. In the medical or biological field, we often face situations when things are not as it looks. It requires creativity and new ideas, thoughts, to solve a problem which arises suddenly and involves a great innovation. How precise can AI be in that field? So in medical and biological field, many situations arises which requires ideas and creativity. So how precise can AI be in that field? This question is given by Nanjati Boro.
Yeah, till date, whatever progress has been made in terms of detecting diseases, integrating huge amount of data into biological research. Most of the things are pretty, reliable. But as I said, that these algorithms were based on certain amount of input information and how they provide the output. So it based on these. Now, as I said, that there has been mistakes in detecting, say for example, cancer tissues. So that has been mistakenly detected, or it has not been detected at all, which should have been detected, has because of the situations. The situation has not been like that, or the particular slide did not have that signature information that the algorithm has been taught. So that's why the new situations, they has not been able to detect. So how this can be improved, I don't know. This is because those who will do this kind of development in algorithms, and those who write this kind of algorithms, and they will have to take care of that. But I think more progress in this research will ultimately lead to some certain kind of certain kind of effective zero error, what is called effective zero error detection systems. Absolutely correct question. As I said, in case of face recognition also, because it all depends on certain kind of parameters. So if you see for a face recognitions, certain kind of face structures, angles, pixels. So how do you detect, say for example, a face of identical twins? So one identical twin has done a particular crime, and you may detect another one, sibling. So that's a great problem. So yeah, there are some practical problems, and as I said that, and someone also has said that as development in this field will progress, you may arise to a situation like that where there will be zero error. But right now the situation, to my understanding, situation is not that. But obviously there has been tremendous improvements in those algorithms.
Yeah. And it's very data dependent. It's very data dependent.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's very data dependent. Like as far as facial recognition, that somebody spoke about that mismatch that occurred, because
Yes.
of darker skinned people,
Yes.
they were identifying them as potential criminals. So
Yes.
the thing was like the data that was fed into the system was typically from Europe and Asia.
Yes.
So that was a reason, because the data was much lesser as far as the maybe African and South Africans were concerned. So that's why the AI, the output was a bit different. Okay?
Similarly with the genome sequences of Caucasians are, we all are, whole world, all genomes, if you genome sequences, if you compare, 99.9% of the genomes of all human in this world are same. Yeah. What we all differ is only on that 0.1%.
0.1%, yeah.
Okay. So that 0.1%, based on this 0.1%, if you now take all the Caucasians into account and using that particular platform to detect the genetic differences that we have, or whether a particular genetic differences can lead to a particular disease, and you use that to Asian or African population, that may not be correct also. So homogenization of the data is also an important experience. So it can be called as an experience. So that experience may come when you homogenize the data.
And that is what AI and machine intelligence is all about.
Absolutely.
Learning from past experience.
Yes.
Okay. So coming back, we'll have to very quickly move on. So Dr. Prakash, do you think AI will be playing a very big role in the near future to put an end to global warming?
Hello, Madam, can you repeat?
Do you think that AI will play a major role in the future to put an end to global warming?
Put an end to global warming?
Yes.
Well, for adaptation, my take is global warming is a natural phenomenon. It will certainly address, not end, but address the rate of change of global warming. But global warming or cooling cannot be stopped in a natural cycle. In an Earth system, warming and cooling is a cyclic process. The only problem comes is the rate of warming at present is far exceeding the natural expected rate of warming. That's it. So the first thing is to stop, it will not stop. But yes, deep learning techniques or artificial intelligence techniques, they will going to help us a lot in formulating strategies for human adaptation. Humans are very adaptable, species are adaptable. So to make them adaptable to the changing climate, what is the resources that we need, how to change our lifestyle, how to change our eating patterns and many other things, that can be achieved or forecasted in a much better way using this networks. In going future, the current research in climate predictions and adaptation strategies AI is using is at present widely applied and explored. It's an active research area in adaptation technologies for control and adaptation. It will not going to stop, but it will certainly address in a long, great way.
Okay, thank you so much. So that's all from the questions. Now I'll just throw a question to the house. So the question that I would want to throw, and I'd like to get comments from each of you, that is artificial intelligence and human intelligence a competition or a collaboration? Your thoughts on this? Is it a competition or a collaboration?
I think it should be a collaboration. Otherwise, we cannot exist because, as Stephen Hawking has already said about the future of artificial intelligence, he actually warns that artificial intelligence, the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of human race. So that was the line said by him. So I think we should do it in a collaborative way. And everything should move in a collaborative way.
Anybody else?
Yes, ma'am. I am also agree that this human intelligence and artificial intelligence should have to be move on into a collaboration way. But there are also some point to raise here is that from the government side also, we'll have to put some focus on the ethical issues also, because the way the technologies are changing, and as I mentioned about the generalized AI, so if that sort of things will come into picture in near future, so definitely from the government side, we'll have to put some sort of ethical issues, some regulations we'll have to emphasize. So if those sort of things we cannot put, then I think AI, the day will come like the singularity, which the professor Stephen Hawking has mentioned. We have started with singularity, and again we may end with the singularity. So that may happen if we do not restrict ourselves in some sort of applications areas.
Yeah, I think Amit, you want to go ahead? Okay, so what I think is that more than anything, we have to be responsible. I think responsibility is the word here. You know, in 2000, whatever we say that about the designer babies, in 2018, China has already reported a designer baby. Now they have got rid of one gene from a baby, and then these babies, they say that this baby will be protected from HIV and different other virus infections. But what ultimately this will lead to, nobody knows, because the gene that they have edited, they predicted that they have edited a particular gene. They know that what gene they have edited also. So the gene that they have edited has a lot of other one in addition to this giving this protection from this virus. So ultimately, what it will lead to, only when the boy will be grown or the girl will be grown, we'll know. We do not know. So, but you know, these kind of activities where a whole world is trying to come to a platform that we have to come to a consensus that how much we can go and how much we can use this and up to what level. There is certainly not much consensus on that at this moment. So we have to be, and also regulatory, reforms, regulatory efforts are going on, and they vary from country to country. So unless we come to a consensus and a global regulatory platform, I think up to that we have to be very responsible and whatever we are using. But at the same time, I always say that this has made a tremendous impact. We should keep on using this, but with a little bit of responsibility.
I think I fully agree with what he's saying, that responsibility is key here. We have to show sufficient responsibility in using what is available. And moreover, it cannot be a competition. It should not be a competition, because you see how available or affordable is AI to everybody. Because otherwise it might become a rich-poor divide between individuals, between countries. And if it becomes a competition between AI versus human intelligence, then affordability would make a hell lot of a difference. So it should definitely not be a competition. It should be a collaboration. We should make use of AI because it has amply been shown that how important it can be to us through all the things that we are already using and benefiting. But then it has also been discussed even in this panel and in in several other discussion forums too, that unabated it can create havoc, because half-baked knowledge together with compromised ethics, that could be a prescription for a disaster. But then if we go into a collaborative mode where we take the best of both worlds, we use the speed, precision, accuracy, abilities of AI and the common sense of humans, then that could really benefit the world at large. That is my take on it.
Thank you so much. Next, Dr. Prakash.
Yes, madam. Actually, my take on is all artificial intelligence is a net product of human intelligence. So cannot be a competition. As the machine learning and techniques evolves, human adaptation also evolves in a different segments. So it is always a matter of how we regulate the use or misuse rather of the technology. That becomes very important. So in that context, the responsibility and care with which we are using and applying the technology on the aspects which is affecting the human life will become very critical in coming future. So it's not a competition, but rather a cautious approach in application of these technology and development aspects of this technology. That is very much essential, and a global platform is needed. Like there is a platform for global cyber security. In that contours, we also need a global initiatives for controlling this technology and its applications. And that's what I think.
Amiya, Dr. Amiya.
Yeah. So I think it is I don't know how to respond to this proposition of like whether it is a kind of collaboration or competition. Like if we believe that nature has created the world, means nature is not competing with the human beings, isn't it? That human beings are rather they are competing with the nature or they are exploiting the nature. So similarly, the humans, if they invent or they create this artificial intelligence or the machine or the humanoid or robots, then I don't think that humans are going to compete with their creation, but I think rather it will be the other way around. Like the machine will, when they will start competing with the like creators or the human beings, then there will be a problem. So I think there should be a kind of approach or a system where there should be a kind of balance, and we should make good use of these creations rather than creating in such a manner that they will create trouble for us in future.
Yes. So in other words, AI needs to take the human part of, there should be a human part of AI. And all of us are together, we all are saying that it's a collaborative effort. AI should not just be a simple science discipline, which is totally cut off from the rest of the other disciplines. It should take not only mathematics, computational biology, environmental sciences, and physics and chemistry for a drug discovery, as well as social sciences, psychology, all aspects of human civilization should be taken into consideration as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. But here I would like to quote from Dave Waters. You all will be thinking that Rosy is always quoting, but I love quotes. So Dave Waters says, "A baby learns to crawl, walk, and then run. We are in the crawling stage when it comes to applying machine learning." And when I talk about machine learning, it is a subset of artificial intelligence. So with machine learning, we are in the crawling stage. We are in the baby stage at this moment, but the future is unknown at this moment. At this moment, all we can say is AI is great at replicating intelligent behavior, but intelligent thought is another matter. we actually, till now, we haven't understood how human thoughts work, or how they develop. And if we don't understand that, then it's very difficult to build machines that can do that in using artificial intelligence. So, but still, the future is full of possibilities. And however, human workers bring deep knowledge to business processes that AI can't capture. But we are more into the complementary attributes of AI with human intelligence. The scientific researchers should be focused on developing artificial intelligence applications that could integrate with human intelligence in an effort to enhance productivity within the broad restrictions of privacy and sensibilities. If we will create a collaborative world for survival for both human intelligence and artificial intelligence, then only it will surely open up new opportunities for many in different fields. And that's what is our take back from this discussion. So it was a very fruitful discussion. And with this, I would like to hand over the discussion to Janapriya Gogoi, the host for the session. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure discussing with you, with your immense knowledge. It was a pleasure. It was really a pleasure. Thank you so much. Janapriya.
Thank you, Rosy. And I must also congratulate you on conducting this in a very systematic, organized, and a very guiding it to a very fruitful end. I must really congratulate you.
Thank you, ma'am, so much.
Thank you, ma'am. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event to all the dignitaries present here. I take this golden opportunity to thank the Dean Professor Devojit Hazarika sir and Faculty Coordinator Rubul Sarmah sir for their constant guidance. I'd also like to express our sincere thanks to the panelists, the moderator, and the audience for coming, being patient enough, and supporting the session throughout. We are so grateful to you all for taking the time out from your busy schedule and marking this spectacular morning with your glorious presence. I hope your presence will be with us forever like this in this coming years. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the whole Inscignis team for enthusiastically arranging and participating in this event. Without you, this event would not be possible. Thank you. Now, as the session is over, I request everyone to please leave this Google Meet. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.